We often overestimate the importance of single, monumental actions while underestimating the profound impact of consistent small changes. The truth is, lasting change rarely happens overnight. It is the accumulation of marginal gains, those seemingly insignificant 1% improvements made day after day, that leads to remarkable transformations over time. Imagine a sculptor chipping away at a block of stone. Each strike may seem insignificant on its own, but with persistence, a masterpiece emerges. Similarly, by focusing on making small, incremental improvements in our daily lives, we can sculpt ourselves into the best versions of ourselves. This is the power of tiny gains. It's about recognizing that even the smallest actions, when repeated consistently, can compound into extraordinary results. Just as a ship adjusting its course by a single degree can end up thousands of miles away from its intended destination, so too can small changes in our habits lead us down vastly different paths in life. The key is to embrace the long game. Instead of seeking instant gratification, we must shift our focus to making consistent progress, one small step at a time. By doing so, we unlock the potential for exponential growth and pave the way for a future that is profoundly different from our present. Atomic habits are the building blocks of remarkable change. They are tiny, incremental changes in our behavior that, when repeated consistently over time, can lead to significant improvements in our lives. The concept is rooted in the idea that just as atoms are the fundamental units of matter, atomic habits are the fundamental units of behavioral change. Just a 1% improvement each day might seem insignificant at first, but the power of compounding these small gains is astounding. Over time, these marginal improvements multiply, creating an upward trajectory that leads to exponential growth. Imagine the impact of getting 1% better at something every day for a year. You would end up 365% better than when you started. The key to harnessing the power of atomic habits is to focus on building a system of small wins. This involves breaking down our goals into smaller, more manageable steps, and then creating a system that makes it easy to stick to those steps consistently. By focusing on the process rather than the outcome, we can create a positive feedback loop that reinforces our desired behaviors. Each small win, no matter how insignificant it may seem, fuels our motivation and propels us further along the path of continuous improvement. Our habits are not merely actions we perform, they are reflections of our identity. They are the outward manifestations of our beliefs about who we are and what we are capable of. Therefore, lasting change requires more than just modifying our behaviors, it demands a shift in our identity. Instead of focusing solely on changing our habits, we must first focus on becoming the type of person who embodies those habits. For example, instead of aiming to read more books, we should strive to become a reader. Instead of trying to eat healthier, we should aspire to be a healthy person. This shift in mindset is crucial because it changes our relationship with our habits. When we identify with a particular trait or behavior, it becomes easier to align our actions with that identity. We are more likely to engage in habits that reinforce our desired self-image. Building an identity-based habit involves a two-step process. First, we must decide what type of person we want to be. What are the values, traits, and behaviors that we want to embody? Once we have a clear vision of our desired identity, we can then begin to design our habits accordingly. Our environment plays a powerful role in shaping our habits. We are more likely to engage in behaviors that are easily accessible and visible, while behaviors that are hidden or require effort are often neglected. This is where the first law of behavior change comes in. Make it obvious. To build good habits, we need to design our environment in a way that makes those habits obvious and easy to perform. This could involve strategies such as creating visual cues like placing reminders in strategic locations, such as sticky notes on the refrigerator or workout clothes by the door. Another strategy is making desired habits the default option, for example, keeping healthy snacks readily available and less healthy options out of sight. Additionally, joining environments that support our goals, like surrounding ourselves with people who share similar values and aspirations, can be very effective. Conversely, to break bad habits, we need to make them invisible and less appealing. This could involve removing temptations such as getting rid of unhealthy snacks, unsubscribing from tempting email lists, or blocking distracting websites. Increasing friction can also help, like making it more difficult to engage in the bad habit. such as placing the television remote in another room or keeping unhealthy snacks in hard-to-reach places. By consciously shaping our environment, we can make it easier to adopt positive habits and break free from negative ones. Section 5. The second law, make it attractive. Pairing habits with enjoyable activities. Our brains are wired to seek pleasure and avoid pain. This principle applies to our habits as well. We are more likely to repeat behaviors that we find enjoyable and rewarding, while behaviors that we associate with discomfort or boredom are often avoided. The second law of behavior change leverages this principle by making habits more attractive. Make it attractive. This involves finding ways to pair the desired habit with something we already enjoy. For example, if we want to start a daily exercise routine but dread the thought of going to the gym, we could try temptation bundling, combining the habit with an activity we enjoy, such as listening to our favorite podcast or watching a TV show while exercising. Joining a group fitness class. Making exercise more social and enjoyable by working out with others. Finding an activity we genuinely enjoy. Experimenting with different forms of exercise until we find one that we look forward to. By associating the habit with something pleasurable, we increase the likelihood of sticking with it over time. Section 6. The third law, make it easy, simplifying the path to habit formation. The easier a habit is to perform, the more likely we are to repeat it. Conversely, the more effort or willpower a habit requires, the less likely we are to stick with it. The third law of behavior change capitalizes on this principle, make it easy. This law encourages us to reduce the friction associated with good habits and increase the friction associated with bad habits. Here are some strategies for making habits easier. Start small. Instead of trying to overhaul our entire routine overnight, we should focus on making small, incremental changes that we can sustain over time. For instance, instead of aiming to exercise for an hour each day, start with 10 minutes and gradually increase the duration. Optimize our environment, making it as easy as possible to engage in the desired behavior. For example, we could lay out our workout clothes the night before or prepare a healthy breakfast in advance. Automate good habits. Leveraging technology and tools to automate certain tasks, such as setting up automatic bill payments or using a habit tracking app. By simplifying the process and reducing the amount of effort required, we can make it easier to stick to our desired habits. Section 7. The fourth law, make it satisfying, rewarding progress and cultivating cravings. Our brains are wired to seek rewards and avoid punishments. This principle extends to our habits as well. We are more likely to repeat behaviors that result in a sense of satisfaction or reward, while behaviors that lead to discomfort or negative consequences are often avoided. The fourth law of behavior change leverages this principle by making habits more satisfying. Make it satisfying. Here are some ways to make habits more satisfying. Reward ourselves. Giving ourselves a small reward after completing the desired behavior, such as enjoying a healthy treat after a workout, or watching an episode of our favorite show after completing a work task. Track our progress. Using a habit tracker or journal to monitor our progress and celebrate our successes. Seeing how far we've come can be incredibly motivating. Focus on the benefits. Reminding ourselves of the positive outcomes associated with the habit, such as improved health, increased productivity, or a greater sense of well-being. By associating a sense of satisfaction or reward with the habit, we increase the likelihood of repeating it in the future. Section 8. Consistency over perfection. Building systems for sustainable success. In the pursuit of building lasting habits, consistency trumps perfection. It's better to strive for consistency over time than to aim for perfection and give up when we inevitably stumble. Building a system that supports our desired behaviors is far more effective than relying solely on motivation or willpower. Motivation is fleeting. It waxes and wanes depending on our mood, energy levels, and external circumstances. Systems, on the other hand, are designed to support our habits regardless of our motivation levels. They provide structure and accountability, making it easier to stay on track even when we don't feel like it. Here are some tips for building systems for success. Create a schedule. Establishing a regular time and place for engaging in the desired behavior. Set reminders, using alarms, calendar notifications, or habit tracking apps to remind ourselves to perform the habit. Find an accountability partner, partnering with a friend, family member, or coach who can provide support and encouragement. By building systems that support our desired behaviors, we set ourselves up for long-term success. Section 9. Embrace the journey of tiny habits. Start small, grow intentionally. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Similarly, the journey of personal transformation begins with a single, tiny habit. The key is to start small, focus on making incremental improvements, and be patient with the process. Don't underestimate the power of small beginnings. Even the smallest actions, when repeated consistently, can have a profound impact on our lives. As we embark on this journey of growth, let us remember that change is a process, not an event. There will be setbacks and challenges along the way. But by embracing the philosophy of atomic habits, by focusing on making small, sustainable changes over time, we can unlock our full potential and create a life that is truly extraordinary. Start today. Choose one small habit you want to build or break, and commit to taking action. Remember, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.